It's November 9, 2022. It's a Wednesday afternoon about 1:30. And today I want to talk about another aspect of living on Mount Desert Island. And that is getting out of the house. And the other day I talked about what businesses were open here. And yesterday I talked about winter hobbies. But we don't always, go out to eat every night unless you like the one restaurant that's open. And we don't just spend all our time at our hobbies. A lot of us like to get out of the house and experience Mount Desert Island at a time of year when we can effectively have it to ourselves. So what am I talking about? Another thing we can do is head down to the local harbor and check out what's going on. And see what the progress is in hauling boats out for the winter. And you can just enjoy looking at the water on a peaceful winter day or late fall day like today. It's beautiful here, and just enjoy the serenity when the hustle bustle of the summer is not going on, and just enjoy it. And you can do this all year, and you can see the different faces of the waterfront here. I particularly enjoy coming down when it's stormy. And you might think, oh, you're in Maine. What's it like deep in the winter? Well, this big wet thing out here, the Atlantic Ocean, buffers our temperature here on Mount Desert Island quite a bit. And the ocean water doesn't get much below about 40 degrees, maybe the upper 30s now, and that keeps the island relatively warm unless we've got a big weather system that's pushing air off the land, where it can be quite a bit colder. But out here, it's not at all unusual in the winter to have daytime highs in the 30s and lows a little bit below freezing, maybe down into the 20s. Yeah, it can get cold. I think the coldest it's been since I've lived here was 4 degrees, but most of the time it's much warmer. And in fact, right now I'm pretty much wearing my winter outfit. This is just a fleece liner from my foul weather gear. And I wear a cap. If it's windy and a little colder, I'll put on a stocking cap. And I might wear gloves, although most of the time I just put my hands in my pockets. Because it really, most of the time, is not that cold here if you're out of the wind. Now, it does get very windy here, and that makes coming down to have a look at the harbor quite interesting. Because, it can be really, really rough in the harbor, and things can be pretty spectacular. So, and that's actually a popular thing to do. Out there at the Seawall picnic area, where I just was, when we have big storms that hit around high tide, you can count on a bunch of local people being down there to watch the surf. Particularly if they think it might be overwashing the road, which is always a fun activity. Watching Mother Nature try to destroy the road to my house. So that's another thing we do. We just travel around the island and look at the island in the relatively tranquil, from the point of view of people, winter season. Now, another thing you can do here in the off season is you can go out and take pictures of some of the iconic locations in Acadia National Park and on Mount Desert Island. And you can send those pictures to your relatives and friends to make them jealous. That never gets old. For example, right now I am in Somesville, right in the middle of Mount Desert Island, and this is the iconic arched footbridge across the stream that leads down to the Somesville Mill Pond. And I am gonna go out onto the bridge, which of course I have to myself today. And we'll take a shot looking out toward Somes Harbor. So there we go, up onto the arched bridge. Of course, the downside of this is it is right on the main road to the other side of the island, but we can get a nice view out over the mill pond between cars of Somes Sound. And here is the 1780 vintage Somesville Meeting House. And looking up at the stream. So as I said, it never gets old to take pictures of places like this, so that you can send them to people who come here in the summer and have to wait in line to take a picture like this. And here is the iconic view of the Somesville arched footbridge. And here's a nice view across the Somesville Mill Pond out into Somes Harbor. And a shot of the Somesville Public Library. Now, another thing you can do in the off season is go places that you might not necessarily go in the summer because of the crowding. For example, right now I'm on my way to Northeast Harbor, but I decided to take Sargent Drive, which goes through Acadia National Park and for quite a ways is right on the edge of Somes Sound. Now, there are a few turnouts along Sargent Drive, but in the summer you can pretty much count on them being packed full of people, and it's just luck to find a spot where you can pull off and relax and enjoy the views out over Somes Sound. But today I'm driving Sargent Drive. I can't see anybody behind me, and I can't see anybody ahead of me. So I'm 100% sure that I will be able to pull into an available turnoff anyone I want and enjoy the views. Another thing we can do is visit other towns. This is Northeast Harbor. Very different here this time of year than it is in the summer. Just lobster boats. There are a couple sailboats here, and the harbor is nearly empty. If we look the other way, you can see a lot of pickup trucks here in the parking lot. It's pretty much full, and these people are mostly lobster fishermen who are out fishing today. And down there we have one of the little ferries that runs over to the Cranberry Islands. So you can visit places like this and get a very different perspective than you do in the summer. And I went through downtown, but right now, as is often the case this time of year, they're getting some road work done before the weather goes bad. And downtown Northeast Harbor is almost completely disrupted by road work. And really there wasn't much in the way of a place to park, and all I would have gotten a picture of was the road crew. So you can come down here and enjoy the serenity of Northeast Harbor on a beautiful day like this. You go out now and you pretty much have these places to yourself, which is very, very nice. So if you enjoyed this look at a little bit of outdoors on Mount Desert Island, and please give me a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope you got my point that one of the big advantages of coming here or living here in the off season is the lack of crowds, in contrast to what it's like in the summer. So please give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and if you haven't, why don't you consider subscribing to my channel. And with that, I'll say thanks for watching.